First, congratulations and thanks to Council President Gabe Albornoz. I hope you can get a deep sleep tonight if you didn't get any last night, and we really appreciate your efforts here steering the ship, and really excited about what this budget will accomplish. And your team has done a terrific job as always. They're probably heading back to work. I don't see Joy in the room, but appreciate working with you and Director Marlene Michelson and your team. Amazing work. And I want to especially thank the staff that has worked through at the Fed Committee, Pam Dunn and Lavu Nadeau and Jean Smith and others. Really have appreciated your efforts. On schools, this budget continues our record investment in schools. We know that our kids have suffered devastating learning losses during COVID, and it's going to take a really concerted effort to recover. I am really pleased to be able to join colleagues in providing significant resources for our schools, and we'll need to work together going forward to focus on accountability and effective implementation. I'm also very pleased that the budget builds on all the work that we've been doing together for years. We're adding more seats for early childhood education and working toward our goal of ensuring every child has access to pre-K. And thank you, Councilmember Navarro, for your work over many years on these issues and for your proposal around mental health and wellness centers. This budget contains a significant improvement in our investment in the mental health and well-being of our school kids. I believe there is a near $10 million program now to provide wellness centers in every high school that we will be standing up. And I am pleased to see how that will develop and embody a new and smarter approach to safety. On housing, I want to thank my colleagues. I want to thank my Fed Committee members, Council Members Friedson and Jawando. I want to thank Council President Albornoz and every member of the Council, because once again, we have continued our laser focus on housing affordability, and we've approved a record amount of funding for affordable housing. We increased our low-cost construction loan fund for our Housing Opportunities Commission from $50 million, which we added 2 years ago, to $100 million for our Housing Production Fund. And that is an innovative housing model that shares the social housing vision that our Fed Committee explored in 2019. The groundbreaking model that we are funding here has already been copied around the country, and HOC projects that it will be able to contribute housing that can meet nearly a third at its peak of our annual housing production goals, according to our COG vision. So this is a significant step forward. We approved a $40 million down payment on a new housing preservation fund, which we also hope to expand to $100 million in coming months. We know, for example, that the Purple Line corridor will take about $100 million in financing to preserve affordability on more than 5,000 housing units there. And this funding is going to move us substantially forward in that direction. We also increased funding available by $1 million for down payment assistance for county residents, reversing a proposed reduction in the county executive's budget. And along with visionary master plans, including the No Net Loss of Affordable Housing Veers Mill Corridor Plan, the Forest Glen Plan, the Silver Spring Plan, this council has enacted historic housing reforms and the accessory dwelling units legislation. We have made major strides on housing policy. On climate, much has been said, and there's a lot of exciting progress here. I just want to give a shout out again for the Green Bank funding, which was remarkable, very innovative, and includes a measure that I proposed, which will ensure that our funds are spent for electric-only equipment, part of a vision of electrification that is really the path forward for combating climate change. And so ensuring that we're funding solar and electric and geothermal and other equipment rather than natural gas or other types of fossil fuel-based equipment. On Black business, I want to thank the county executive for following our lead, working with us to codify the investment in small business resources that are targeted to communities of color in the county. And I am really looking forward to moving this ahead this coming year. We're going to step into the conversion of the Silver Spring incubator in making it a center of excellence for support of businesses and entrepreneurs of color. We are starting a feasibility process for a new CDFI to provide financing for Black businesses and businesses of color. We'll begin to train small business owners and entrepreneurs in procurement and bringing forward a vibrant community of entrepreneurs to strengthen our county's economic development program. On bids in main streets, I am really pleased we have approved a down payment for the development of the Silver Spring bid, working our way through what has been a challenging conversation, and there's more to come. I know we're going to see a new, bigger, and more inclusive board of directors now that has been allowed by state law, and we'll be able to return to additional funding as we progress. And we have approved $500,000 for the burgeoning other bids in the county. And particularly, I'm thrilled by the Main Streets program. That is a program that I highlighted when we considered the bid legislation and recommended that we consider a funding strategy to stand up Main Street organizations in the county, and now we're going to be moving forward with that. For after school and sports, this budget funds a continuing expansion of the rec department's after school programs like Excel Beyond the Bell. And I've been so proud to work closely with Action in Montgomery and other community groups and the rec department to try to rebuild this essential program from years ago and continue its expansion today. There are thousands of kids today in high poverty schools who are benefiting from comprehensive programs. And I'm thrilled that this budget continues to build on our work with the Kid Museum, creating an innovation lab, for example, partnering with MCPS to change how MCPS teaches science and other critical skills and learning programs in the schools. And we have continued we have two exciting new programs, continuing one and adding another for youth sports. Play Montgomery, and I want to give a shout out for Councilmembers Albornoz and Rice, who proposed Play Montgomery during COVID to ensure there were resources for youth sports leagues. We are continuing our investment in that program, and we're creating a new program that I've recommended with Council President Albornoz to build sports leagues and programs focused on sports that get the highest participation from girls. And that is going to be really exciting. Big shout out for Councilmember Rice here. We worked together to create something, and to all of the council members for their strong support, the Ready Institute. And I don't want to steal Councilmember Rice's thunder necessarily, but we convened a joint meeting of the Fed Committee and the EC Committee in January of 2019 to talk about tech talent and our county's workforce development strategy. We worked together, of course, through challenging decisions about WorkSource Montgomery, but all the time we kept our eyes on the need to build a different model for how the educational institutions in the county can interface with our private sector and our government to create new investments and new educational programs for the talent that our companies need to grow. So today we have funded the first phase of the Universities at Shady Grove's Ready Institute, because everything that we do, affordable housing, funding schools, economic development, it's all about creating opportunity, and that's what Ready is going to be able to help build. Ready will bring together partners from MCPS, Montgomery College, the private sector, and they'll work to develop career pathways that are focused on the student experience and preparing for a lifelong successful career. This is a really critical piece that we've been missing, and we will look to connect the dots in finding opportunity pathways through all of the institutions and employers that we have in Montgomery County and make sure that all students have the ability to navigate them. Again, thanks to Dr. Condamian from USG for her leadership, frankly, bold leadership in bringing this forward. On the capital budget, I am really pleased that this budget includes a record investment in the bike and pedestrian safety infrastructure in our equity emphasis areas, which I work closely with WABA to develop. And it provides increased funding for our BIPAs, our bicycle pedestrian priority areas in Wheaton, Silver Spring, Tacoma Langley, Veers Mill, Randolph, a program that I created 7 years ago with Councilmember support. This budget continues our commitment to the Purple Line by rejecting the executive's repeated attempts to defund the Capitol Crescent Trail Tunnel into the heart of Bethesda. We want to get the Purple Line done right. This capital budget also finally funds 2 of our long-proposed BRT lines, thanks in large part to the agreement that this council negotiated to get a large new infusion of transit funding from the state. These lines will urbanize 355 and allow us to promote smart growth development in that corridor, and they'll promote safety on Veers Mill while providing a high-quality transit connection from Wheaton all the way to Germantown. Doing right by the Upcounty, we were able to accelerate construction of the first phase of Observation Drive Extended, which is a critical connection for Clarksburg and the future route for BRT there. And we're sustaining our commitment to upgrading our playing fields, our athletic fields in the county. Parks has been a great partner in this effort, and I'm pleased we're providing record funding. The Equal Justice Institute project, a lynching memorial, has received planning funding, and we've provided operating funding for the Reconciliation Commission to continue its important work, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that progresses. I want to thank my colleagues on T&E and the Council and the Commission on People with Disabilities, especially Dr. Morgan. We work together to get more out of our charges on Uber and Lyft to provide wheelchair-accessible vehicles on our road. We have taken now the biggest step forward yet to stand up a fleet of vehicles that can provide adequate taxi and on-demand transportation services for people who use wheelchairs. Finally, on OPEB, while the federal government, under the leadership of President Biden, has managed to save us from the jaws of a major recession by investing in this country, the storm clouds are gathering again. I was frustrated that the county executive did not make enough effort to plan for how we can afford to maintain our level of service in years ahead if the economy does falter. And we're seeing the markets are already down substantially this year. Nonetheless, I'm very glad that we stuck to our promise to restore the executive's grade on the OPEB trust, which funds health insurance obligations for our retirees. It was not easy to find the money, but we have to plan for the future, and we've created a buffer for ourselves should we have stormy seas ahead. Thank you to my colleagues and to all those who participated in the process.